What is going on, crypto peeps? Welcome back. Let us get right into it. A couple of things I want to look at today is XRP. Obviously, we'll take a look at BTC, and we're going to take a look at what coin did we gain almost 70% on in the last couple of weeks. Looking at the stock market as well, there are a few storylines to go over there. So on CoinMarketCap, you'll see that the crypto market cap is around 116 billion, about 4 billion more than the last couple of days. XRP being one of the main gainers, and this is a trade that we actually got into just yesterday, and I'll show you exactly why I got into this XRP trade and whether there is still more leverage for you to get into the trade even after this rally of 10.5%. Let's take a look at BTC first. Here you'll see BTC, still stagnant, trading in the sideways channel. I've said this before, I'll say it again. There's no reason for me to get into a BTC swing trade at the moment because there isn't really any confirmation of which trend, in which direction the trend wants to move. And we are currently in the sideways trend. The most likely move is a move down. Instead of trying to predict whether we're going to go up or down, right? In technical analysis, based on your indicators and your analysis, you want to know what is the most probable move. We're not fortune tellers. We're not in the business of fortune telling. You want to know what is the most probable move, and then through technical analysis, be able to react accordingly based on your entry and exit points. So looking at BTC, there's no reason for me to get into it as long as it's in this sideways channel here. And the most likely move is a move down. You see on the Bollinger Bands, they're tightening. And every single time, before a sharp decline, you see the Bollinger Bands tightening and BTC trading in a sideways trend. And I've gone over this before again, but we're in the business of making lower highs on BTC, never really surpassing the previous high that we made, right? And until that happens, we cannot speak of a reversal. So currently BTC saw a downtrend in this price decline here. The sideways channel is just a continuation pattern, right? Before potentially another downtrend. Now, if you look at the weekly is telling of the fact that we are holding the 200-day moving average, which is this green line here, right? As long as this is held, I think, BTC will continue to trade sideways. However, with this declining volume that you see here, the potential is, as long as the volume keeps declining and we're trading below average volume, we will eventually break this support. That's what we tend to see, right? And we see BTC now forming a potential bear flag on the weekly. This is not good. Obviously, the 200 is still acting as support, but you don't want to see bearish patterns, especially on longer term time frames, right? On the weekly, where the 200 is held up for a while, but it might break down because of what's going on with the volume and what's going on with the pattern. Also, the 50 and the 100 look like they're about to converge if nothing miraculous happens in terms of a positive trend change, right? So I think that we're heading, the most probable move is that we're heading towards 1800 to 2500 level, at least the 3100 level that we saw back in December. But if we do break the 200 moving average, I think we will fall below 3100 as the strong support. On the 4-hour, you'll see that we did form a descending triangle, and that pattern was confirmed by this recent move down. So you'll see here's your support of the descending triangle and the resistance of the descending triangle. This is a classic descending triangle. You'll see the lower highs formed and the linear support line that is formed here, and we eventually confirmed that pattern and broke down. So bearish signs all around, really, and the most probabilistic move is another move down. It doesn't mean we can't move up. It's just more probable that we will move down. No trade for me on BTC just yet. XRP, we put in a nice swing trade that netted us now, just as I started this video, 14%. It was 12% when I started the video, but netted us 14%, and this is against the dollar or Tether if you want. And the reason that we entered this trade is because, again, trade is your friend until it isn't. And based on a trend going all the way back to August 2018, XRP continuously hits this support zone, right, which is a demand zone, a historic demand zone for BTC between 25 and 29 cents USD. And every time it hits this zone, this rectangular zone here, we see a rally upwards. We hit that zone again yesterday, and I sent out a trade alert on the Discord. Trade alerts link is in the description if you want access to those. Those are sent out on the Discord exclusively for now. But yeah, so with it hitting the demand zone here between 25 and 29 cents, as well as the spot that we see on the RSI here almost touching the 30 line on the RSI, which it has done previously, either going below the 30 or touching the 30 on each of these moves down to the demand zone. That is what prompted us to initiate this trade, and initiate this trade rather safely, right? When you're making trades at key support levels, you can essentially set your stop limit very close to that support level, very close below that support level. So your risk reward ratio is really high, right? So if you're risking 5% of a stop loss in order to gain, in this case, 14%, but my long-term outlook is that we get to at least 38 to 40 cents, somewhere in here, right? So if my long-term outlook is somewhere between 30 and 40% or so, and you're only risking 5% to do that, then your risk reward ratio is really high. And that is considered a safe trade. Another trade that netted us a tremendous amount of money and continues to do so is NPXS, which is Pundi X. And I like this because, I do like having certain coins in my portfolio that are low cap. When I say low cap, I don't mean really low market cap. I just mean in Satoshi value, they're very low in price, right? They're either in single digit or double digit Satoshi prices. And, NPXS, we entered at 11 when we saw this strong support here that lasted for, 3 weeks or so, buying in at this key level, again, identifying it as a demand range and just sitting on it. And because it is so low priced, any tick in movement. So we went from, 11 Satoshis to currently 19 Satoshis, and that is almost a 70% move up. So you could have room in your portfolio for more riskier plays that might net you a large amount of gains, as long as you protect yourself. Again, in this kind of play, because we see that this is a clear support zone, you can set your stop limit, very tight below this and exit relatively unscathed in case things don't go your way. Going back to XRP real quick, is there room for more growth? Yeah, there could be. If we are identifying 38, 40 cents as your support range, you could enter here. You do have less leverage because you're not entering at the support. You're entering, after this rally. So your stop limit might have to be wider. If you do set a tight stop limit, the chances of it getting hit after this rally are very high because you might tend to see a retracement before another move up. But yes, if we are targeting 38 to 40 cents if you're targeting 38 to 40 cents as your target, obviously you do have still some room to grow, because even from this point on, you stand to gain around 20% even after this rally that we saw overnight. Looking at the stock market is up between 1% to 1.3% on all the major indices. You see the S&P is up almost 1%, NASDAQ 1.3, Dow Jones 1.3, up 327 points. That is after a decline of around 300 and something points yesterday. And the reason that it is up is because the Fed announced that it is not going to raise interest rates or make any moves on interest rates until at least June. So they are preaching prudence as it relates to interest rates, and that is exciting the market, at least in the short term. Looking at the major market cap stocks, they're all following the indices for the most part, except for, you see Alibaba's up by 5%. Apple surprisingly is up 5%. We'll talk about that in 1 second. And the major one is AMD, which I think is up 16% from yesterday's close. That one is a surprising one to me, even after I've read the analysis as to why, we think it has gained 16% in a day. I don't think the move is rather justified in terms of earnings. It didn't even, it missed it by 1 cent per share, which in relative to its market cap is about 22%. But yeah, based on the slow growth of the GPU industry due to the cryptocurrency slowdown, the fact that it didn't beat out its earnings, it is surprising why it gained 16%. reading the analysis on it, it says that, you know, investors are still positive about AMD because of its year-to-year growth, even though it missed its, you know, this quarter's estimate, but its year-to-year growth is increasing and at least imminently giving the stock a boost. I still don't see the 16% justification, but hey, we come from the crypto world. 16% is peanuts compared to what we see there. AMD still trading in this sideways pattern that you see here now. So I don't know how much more growth we'll see, especially coming from this downtrend here, right? The sideways channel seen as a continuation pattern. We could hit the ceiling and see a fall back down. This is actually not a bad short here. You might be able to initiate a short based on AMD's one-day gains and ride this channel until it hits back down to support or near it. And obviously setting a tight stop limit above this resistance line. Let me think about that for a second. I might actually do that right after this video. All right, looking at Apple. Apple is up 5%. And even though it, you know, failed to meet earnings or beat earnings, it's up 5% because of obviously the iPhone sales have slumped a bit as sales of phones all across the board, even Samsung and Google phones. But it saw major growth in its services and software sector with about 360 million subscribers to at least one of its subscription services. So based on that, you know, Apple saw a 5% increase in its stock. I think as a whole, unless Apple does diversify into other markets, it is looking to get into the original video content markets like Netflix or Hulu, as well as there are rumors that it might buy a video game subscription company or start a video game subscription company of its own until it diversifies into something other than, until it is seen as something other than a smartphone company or primarily a smartphone company. I think that investors will continue to be bearish on Apple in the long run. That is it for this video. Leave a comment if you got anything out of this video. If you have a question or an agreement, a disagreement, etc., leave it in the comment section below. Hit that thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Sign up if you want access to the trade alerts. If you are going to sign up to get the trade alerts, I would wait a couple days, at least until February 1st, because I know that the way that Patreon does its billing, it will charge you for the remaining days in January as well as on the 1st of February. So I don't want you guys to get shortchanged. Wait until February 1st if you are new and you want to subscribe to the trade alerts. Just wait a couple days. Be patient. If you want to, you can go ahead and subscribe now if you're so impatient. But yeah, that is it. Stay safe out there. Peace.